What's up, everybody? Another special episode with another special guest, a former colleague of mine who I've cultivated a meaning relationship over the years. We worked together for, 10 years ago at New York Life. Tim Angelos, who is the vice president of Atlantic Coast Advisory Group, one of the fastest growing independent marketing organizations in the country. And for over 10 years, he has remained committed to ensuring his clients get the best products and immaculate advice, whether it be growing life insurance and mutual funds or just giving stellar advice about just the best insurance overall. Tim has remained committed and dedicated to the service and excellence. And over the course of his long career spanning about 2 decades, Tim has been an advocate and continuously add value to his clients and partners alike. He joins us here today to share his advice and welcome to the Results or Excuses podcast. Good deal. Finally here. Tim Angelos is here and we catching up, man. It's been a long time, but you're finally here, man. I know you're busy, so I'm gonna get right into it because I know you got about 20 kids. Every year I've known you, it's been, it's been, you've had a kid.
Four, not
kids?
20. Yeah.
4, 20, it's close enough. Every year I've known you, man, it seems like you had a kid for a little while.
It's a lot, that's for sure.
Well, good deal, man. One of the things I want to talk about first of all is kind of get into your work at Atlantic Coast Advisory Group. Tell them what you do. What it is about. I mean, why do people come to you?
Good question. So basically what we are an independent marketing organization in the financial service industry. So personally, I wear 2 hats. We have insurance advisors, registered representatives, folks that have other careers such as, they could be a CPA, they could be a real estate agent, they could be an attorney, but they have a client base and they are already a trusted advisor. So, they may have a client that comes in that has a need for insurance or an annuity product or something along those lines, where they'll call upon us to handle that transaction for them or partner with them to work it. So we have about 150 or so people contracted across the U.S. It's kind of the old 80-20 rule where you got, I'd say, 80% of the work is done by about 40 of those advisors.
Oh, yeah.
But again, we have folks that are full-time in our industry that sell insurance products, that sell annuities, that sell investments. And we have a handful of folks that have other careers where they utilize us as almost like a brokerage outfit. That's kind of how we're set. As a 30,000 up above, looking down overview of who we are.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. But I wear 2 hats. So I've got my own agency within our group that is comprised of about 14, 15 different individuals or so to say family offices that I work very closely with, whether it's back office support, joint work, case prep, whatever it may be. Some are a little more hands-on than others. Some are a little more hands-off than others. Just kind of depends. But then the other hat is, because I have been doing this for 20 years now, which is crazy to me. I started in 2001, so 21 years actually. But I have my own personal client base as well. So trying to balance the agency aspect of it from a recruiting, developing, retaining, servicing to working my own client base and servicing that, building that. It's crazy. It's chaotic.
Man, I definitely, for sure. I've always admired the fact that you were able to balance so much, even in business working with New York Life, when you were a partner there. The fact that, of course, you orchestrated everything with having, 10 agents and, running your own business type deal and kind of, from a coaching standpoint, dealing with life insurance and, going one-on-ones with us. When I was selling insurance. And first of all, you need to tell them how I was a beast in the life insurance business, man.
AG did really well with us. He, going back to New York Life, but he was on the path of basically moving into the position that I was in before career paths kind of changed directions. But yeah, he did very well with us.
And I'm going to give him his money later.
Damn. Because I'm not there anymore.
Make sure we cut and just leave it at that. I'm going to give him his money later. No, I definitely appreciate it, man. I definitely appreciate the fact of the impact you made in our office as well. But marketing yourself as a marketing company, what does it take to grow a company like yours? I mean, using the resources that you have and your experience, what does it take to get to that level?
Well, a couple of things. Number one, from a marketing for myself, I am at a point now in my life because of our 4 kids, not 20, but 4. They're so busy that I have been on, I can't tell you how many boards in Charleston. Mm-hmm. So being on nonprofit organizations, being involved in your community. Yeah. I'm a member at several different clubs, but having your face out there as much as you possibly can helps a lot. When I got into this business, social media was not what it is today.
Right.
I'll be the first to tell you, I have profiles out there, but I'm horrible, because we are so regulated. So we have to be really careful about what we put on there. They want to know everything about your past and all this kind of stuff. But, but we do. I mean, I have a LinkedIn profile that's linked to my business. I don't push a lot of content just because of the regulations.
Okay.
But to me, more so than ever before, I mean, the first thing people do is they Google you.
Oh, for sure.
They find out who you are and they Google you. So you want to make sure that whoever you're working with or for, partnered with, that whole search engine optimization thing is really, really important. Fortunately for us, we are partnered with a very well-known, well-respected marketing organization in our business called Creative One.
Important.
They have a full-on marketing division. So through our affiliation with them and some business we do with them, they can build our website. They can monitor it. They can push our social media content. Mm-hmm. We can write books. We can do publications. We can do news clipping. We can do all these various things.
Yeah.
But obviously you're trying to balance, cost because it's not cheap.
For sure.
You want to return on your investment. But for me personally, what I found the most value in is staying active. Making sure you're touching base with your clients.
Right.
I sponsor all of my kids' soccer teams, basketball teams. All of them.
Makes sense.
The jerseys have our name on it.
You stay in front of everybody.
I stay in front of everybody. The nonprofit boards that I'm on, we're the title sponsor, which again costs money, but
you have to invest. You have to make the decision.
Our name is on the towels. It's on the banners. It's on the bags that get handed out. It's on the flags on the golf course. So just doing little things like that, I think go a lot, especially in a community like Charleston, which is a very social town. I mean, you're out there and you're social and they see your name. It's all about name recognition and seeing that over and over and over again. At least to me it is.
And that makes sense. I mean, it's a lot of work that you have to do. You have to make the decision to be known and to make yourself distinctively different than a lot of your competitors and so forth. 21st century marketing versus traditional. Do you see your company's marketing style or marketing 10 years from now? I mean, with everybody's being so tech savvy and, this and that, I mean, are people still going to come to you for advice?
It's funny because take COVID, the world shut down.
Right.
So prior to March of 2020, the way that people did business in our business and every other business completely changed. You couldn't go to work.
Right.
You really couldn't do anything. So for us, I was initially terrified, but the last 2 years have been the best 2 years I've ever had in this business ever.
Wow.
Which is crazy. But a lot of that has to do with the fact that, again, for us and several of our folks within our firm, we were already set up to do this. We were already using Zoom video conferencing. Zoom took off.
Right.
A lot of the things that we're able to do as far as getting client signatures, processing applications was already being done electronically anyway. So this really just warp speeded that to this is how we do business going forward. So I think that COVID has forced people to really move into the 21st century because if you're not digital savvy, to be honest, you're getting left in the wind.
You are.
I mean, you really are. And it's, for some people, it's been great, but for others that are more tenured in the business, that are a little bit older, that trying to stay away from all the tech stuff, it's really hurt them. And that's where our relationship with groups like Creative One that have this marketing organization built in has really been beneficial to those individuals because it helped them build an online social media presence, because otherwise they couldn't go to the restaurant they always went to. They couldn't go play golf with their buddies because the places were shut down. They couldn't go to the various charity functions because nobody had any. So it's, to me, the 21st way you market, or the 21st century, the way you market, and with digital stuff like this, it's critically important going forward.
Most definitely. And it's hard to train an old dog a lot of times, but they got to get up to speed.
But as far as using like someone like me or an advisor in our business, I think when it comes to life insurance in particular, you know, I tell people all the time, you want the cheapest, and if you want the cheapest coverage, when you need it the most, when you've lost a loved one or something terrible has happened, you're going to call an 800 number, and you're probably going to speak to somebody who doesn't speak very good English. And if that's how you want to be serviced, go to the internet. But if you want to have a personal relationship, you want us to truly shop the market, provide a product that's best for you, and work with somebody who's going to be there throughout the whole process of this, that's what we bring to the table. And I think that's the differentiator. And I don't think, regardless of marketing time, I think at least when it comes to that, when you're dealing with an emotional purchase, you're dealing with loved ones, you're dealing with family, I don't think you can ever take the human element out of that.
Yeah, absolutely right. And of course, I can vouch for you, man. I mean, I've known you for quite some time, and the fact that it's not about just the sale, so to speak, or just obtaining a client. You really do take the client's best interest in making it happen for them, especially in a time of loss, to give them the best advice regarding which product best fits them for what they're trying to accomplish. My next question it revolves around the role of school, all right, in the professional career. And would you say that young people nowadays, is school really important for them, or at least further education? Me and my friends have battled back and forth about this, and so I'm not gonna share.
Same boat.
Right. I'm not gonna share my personal opinion just quite yet, but you know, college and further education. I mean, is it important?
Yeah, I think so. But I also think there's a difference in various career paths. Like, for example, I mean, I use this all the time. I probably used it on you when I was recruiting you at New York Light. You know, I come from a family my dad's a nuclear engineer. My brother's a facial plastic surgeon. My other brother is a double major PhD MBA grad from MIT and is an executive at Exxon. And my sister delivers babies. I went to college in Charleston, played sports throughout my life, and got fortunate to come into a business where if you really like talking to people and like being social, you can do really, really, really well.
Right.
So I think school is important. You know, if you're going to become a lawyer, you're going to become a doctor, you're going to become a very specialized surgeon, you know, those career paths require that you go to X number of years of school.
Right.
For my career path, to me, why was school important? Because it taught me how to manage my time. It taught me how to be on my own. It taught me how to, you know, become an adult. So although I didn't go to a higher level of education, I learned a lot about, you know, not having mom and dad wake you up in the morning to go to work.
Oh, for sure.
Not having mom and dad do your laundry. Not having mom and dad, you know, oh gosh, I don't have any money. Well, I had to get a job. So school plays an important role no matter what career path you go down. But I think the career path that you go down, also having a higher level of education is critically important. So it just kind of depends on the situation, in my opinion.
Right. It definitely depends on the situation. And I'm not saying I'm not an advocate of school.
No, me neither. Now, in my profession, you don't necessarily you don't have to go to, say, a grad school or even graduate college, for example. I mean, I went to college in Charleston and got my degree in business administration. But beyond that, in my career field, I'm required to basically go to school every year. I have to maintain continuing education. I have 5 insurance licenses and 6 security licenses that require ongoing education. So it's not just go into this career path and forget about it. There's always levels of education in whatever profession you go in so that you can get better learn more and build your practice.
Well said, because that was important as far as what you said, because no matter what you do, you have to continue to grow.
Mm-hmm.
You have to continue to polish yourself, especially for our listeners out there, the entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs, wanting to polish themselves. School itself, grad school and PhDs might not necessarily be necessary, but further trade and further experience and putting yourself around the right people to get what you need to make yourself better that's it. I'm an advocate of school. School taught me a lot myself. Some of the same things that you talked about, being responsible, waking up, going to class, knowing that I didn't have mom and daddy there, and I failed some classes because of that, but I had to get back on track. I played sports, so I learned a lot from sports, from team. Did it help me do what I'm doing right now? Not specifically, but it's some things that I learned as far as in school. But that's another conversation as far as that goes. But, one thing I want to get into too is, how do you choose the right professional team, the staff? I would imagine it's important to have the right people around you to grow the business.
Yes. Well, we're fortunate. We don't have a ton of staff. But we do have some folks that are on staff, and they're critically important to what we do on a day in and day out basis. I would be lost, honestly, if we didn't have them. Mm-hmm. And to be honest with you, we really need to add more staff, which has been a challenge lately. A couple of reasons. Regardless of economic or pandemic conditions, hiring another individual, you got to find the right person, and then B, you got to train them. And we're at a point right now where we're busy on all fronts. And for myself, Jim Smith, who's our president and CEO, who's not going to train them, and then Lauren and Dana, who are there, for them to take the time out of their day to get a new person up to speed is, it's a temporary setback, but long run, I think it would really help us. It's the same boat for me. I'm in a position now where I want to have somebody that's dedicated to my group 100%.
Right.
But again, trying to find that individual, then bring that individual in, then get them up to speed from a training perspective takes time.
It's a process.
So having the right team is important. But above and beyond our staff, because of how we're set up and how we're structured, I also have the privilege of relying on a lot of our corporate partners that have a back office, that have advanced planning consultants, that have in-house attorneys or CPAs that can help advise us on a variety of different things without having to go outside. So, we're fortunate in that aspect because of all the different facets of the financial service sector that we touch. We're able to utilize a lot of our corporate partners, so to say, staff or people. Some are better than others, to help us do what we do. But yeah, the right team is, I don't care what business you're in, it makes a big difference.
It makes all the difference, for sure. The people you surround yourself with. And obviously you're a little bit more as far as advanced than some of our listeners who have to take on those tasks, a lot of those tasks, solo.
Yeah.
But yeah, another thing I want to touch on is, life insurance itself. And as much as you want to talk about it, because it seems like I'm always hearing a story where we lose a loved one and we don't have certain things in place, obviously, to maintain the lifestyle that we're in right now.
Yeah.
Why don't you touch on the importance of life insurance and maybe some personal experiences that you've experienced?
Yeah. Life insurance is a funny term. You throw the term of life insurance out there. Half people in the room will be like, "Oh God, I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about that." And the other half of people in the room be like, "Yeah, it's a very important financial product." Blah 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 blah.
All right.
But life insurance is. It's a complicated product that a lot of people don't fully grasp what it does or how it works. You know, I always tell people the life insurance in and of itself is almost like a Swiss Army knife of a financial product. You know, a Swiss Army knife has a corkscrew, it has scissors, it has a knife, it has tweezers, it's got all these crazy things in it.
Right.
But it's this one tool that can be used for a lot of different things. And that's really what life insurance is. Obviously, people buy it because they have loved ones at home. And if God forbid something happens to them, they don't want to leave them financially strapped. In business situations, if, for example, AG and I are partners and God forbid I get whacked by a bus and I go down, well, AG's new partner is my wife. My wife might not like him. He might not like her. So oftentimes life insurance is purchased in those situations to buy out a deceased partner's interest without having to go to the bank or take money from the business to buy them out. Life insurance is also used in purchases of business. You know, banks oftentimes require it. If you're starting a business and you take out significant debt, they need something to collateralize that debt, which is life insurance. But the core basic reason why people buy it is because they really, honestly, they love someone, or they have a significant net worth where they don't want the biggest beneficiary of their estate to be the government. So they'll purchase insurance to help offset the potential tax to their family to offset that. But I have been on the unfortunate side of actually having to deliver when that unfortunate, and it actually happened in your life. We had a very young individual. He did not want to buy it. His wife actually forced him to buy it. Premium was about $40 a month. And 6 months later, it was a terrible car accident. And I'll never forget that night because it was the foggiest night I can ever remember in Charleston. And I remember going home from the New York Life office. And he didn't make it home. He was killed in a car accident, had the policy for 6 months. And his wife was devastated, and I had, you know, the unfortunate privilege of delivering to her a little over $1 million of tax-free money. That, I mean, we cried together.
Right.
At Elvis.
You can never replace him coming back, but.
And she was so appreciative and so thankful that they purchased it and that we were there to deliver it because they had very young children at the time. And she was worried about the house payment. What's she going to do for income? Because he was the breadwinner. How am I going to put these kids through college? And at least we were able to provide the peace of mind that, you know, hey, look, financially, I know you're devastated emotionally, but financially, you're going to be okay. I mean, that's, you know, the bottom line is that's what that product does.
Wow.
Outside of all the other fancy fun stuff.
For sure. I mean, you're talking about multiple reasons, and that story sticks with you, man. I know it sticks with you too. It kind of changes you over time, and you definitely get a different perspective as far as on, you know, life insurance and what it does. And you talked about life insurance not only just for losing a loved one, but it can be used to in business purposes. You know. So life insurance is just multiple ways that can benefit you all around here. The trade-off between personnel, product, and marketing. Would you talk about that? The trade-off between personnel, product, and marketing.
I think they're probably all intertwined. I mean,
can be.
To do what we do, we have to have good personnel, which fortunately for us, we really do. We need more personnel.
We all do.
Product-wise, you know, that's probably what makes us unique and different is unlike a traditional career shop, we have access to an ungodly amount of product. I mean, the product that we can provide to our clientele is we're an independent organization, so we have the ability to literally shop the marketplace when it comes to the products that our clients are looking for. And we can give them the option based upon our professional advice. Hey, look, here's the 4 various products that we think best matches your situation. Which ones do you feel most comfortable with? Which I think is unique. So, you know, having good staff, having good personnel, having good product. And then what was the other one? Oh, marketing, which we already touched on. You know, the combination of those 3 things, at least in what we do and what Atlantic Coast does, if one of those 3 pillars is off, that hampers us. So we have to have good personnel. We know we have to provide and offer the best products to our clients, because they're going to get it from us, or get it from somebody else.
Sure.
And then we also, from a marketing perspective, we're always making sure that we are involved in our community so that people don't forget us. So I think they're all intertwined.
You're absolutely right. When I hear the name Atlantic, Coast Advisory Group, if I came to the office, man, I'm already thinking like I'm going to spend some money. Do you face that a lot? There's people.
The stereotype. And my wife and I were joking about this because we're redoing our house right now, and I don't know anybody who's not redoing their house right now because the values are crazy. But anyway, you hear someone say, "Oh, I'm in the financial service industry," or "I'm a financial advisor," or "I'm a financial planner," or "I'm in the life insurance business." Right. The stereotype automatically goes up. Either A, I don't want anything to do with that person. Yeah. If I see him call my phone, I'm like, "Oh, I want to talk to that guy." Yeah. Or they're money hungry people, this, that, and the other. I've seen all the stereotypes.
I'm in the car business, so
yeah. It's definitely out there. Yeah. But I have always, because when I came into this business, that's what I was concerned about, was the stereotype. So yeah, if you walk into our office, I tell people all the time up front, look, if you're feeling comfortable telling me, because I have to ask you these questions to make sure we're doing right by you, number one. Right. And if you ever feel uncomfortable, you got to tell me. And if I feel uncomfortable, I'm going to tell you. And if you don't want to do business with me, I'm going to be okay. Mm-hmm. That's okay with me. Mm-hmm. I've been told no a lot in my life. Mm-hmm. So no, if somebody comes into our office, we don't ever want them to feel uncomfortable. We want them to feel like they're at home. Mm-hmm. We want them, if they are uncomfortable, they, please tell us. If any time along the way you don't want to do anything, that is okay. Right. It's not, you're coming to our office for advice, but it's your money, not mine. So sure. if you don't want to take the steps that are necessary to implement your plan with us, go do it somewhere else. We don't ever want to put somebody in a situation where they're uncomfortable. That's just not, and that's Jim Smith, who's our president CEO, built our independent platform on the fact that if I treat you better than you'll ever treat me, more than likely you'll never not do business with us. And it's worked.
There you go, man. Good deal. Last question as far as for our listeners out there that we routinely ask every episode. Give me an example in business where you had a valid excuse or excuses not to take action, but you did it anyway. And it ended up yielding you a positive result.
Yeah. I probably the easiest one I could think of is when I left New York Life. Okay. Well, and the reason is, I knew in my mind probably about a year before I left that for what I wanted long term, that great company, but it just did not offer the long term path that I really wanted for myself. Mm-hmm. But the flip side is, my wife and I were pregnant with our fourth child, not 20th, our fourth. I was doing as well as I've ever done in my life from a financial perspective. Mm-hmm. I was a corporate person, so the benefits of having a corporate job are really good, between health insurance, pension, all the stuff that people want and ask about when they go on a job interview. Right. And when I made the decision that I was going to leave, and I narrowed it down to two places, one of which was partnering with Atlantic Coast, and one was a different, same business, but different opportunity. Mm-hmm. Walking away from the stability and the comfort of what I had spent 8 years building at New York Life to literally give all of that up, all the benefits, all the corporate compensation, the team of people like yourself that I worked with for 8 years.
Where's your comfort zone?
My comfort zone, to literally start from scratch all over, with no guarantee of income, with self-employed health benefits that were ridiculously expensive, was a really scary thing. And to top it all off, after I made that leap of faith, a year and a half later, I got diagnosed with stage 3 cancer. Wow. So it was, to say it was a cakewalk is an understatement. Then you fast forward now to where we are. It's the best decision I've ever made. but I don't know of anything entrepreneurial that's easy.
It's not.
If you do, you tell me, because there were peaks, there were valleys, there were wins, there were losses, there were arguments at home, arguments in the office, second guessing why you did this.
Sure.
But fast forward to now, I couldn't imagine I'd be doing anything any differently. I mean, it's been the best move I've ever made from a financial perspective, family perspective. I have more time on my hands. I don't have to ask my boss if I'm going to go to my kids' games and get to go when I want. Sure. So but it was a very difficult decision to make. Stepping from comfort to going entrepreneurial, for sure, no doubt.
Man, I definitely appreciate the time, Tim. I mean, you've been very helpful, man. The insights, the knowledge that we gained from this interview today. And man, we wish you the best. How can our listeners reach you?
A couple ways. Number one, our website is www.atlanticcoastadvisorygroup.com. You can get us there. If you are a Googler, you can put my name in. It'll take you right to our my LinkedIn page. We got a Facebook page. Again, I don't post much just because of the rules and regulations of our industry, but we're there. The office phone number is 843-881-4904. I'm cautious to give out my cell over live news feed.
No, but they've got a number of ways to reach you.